Good morning, North Beach kids. How are you doing? Teacher Tony here with another edition of Legends, Folklore, Myths, and Campfire Stories. I've got a good one for you guys. This one's actually pretty long, so I recommend you guys go get a little bag of popcorn, maybe tuck yourself into bed. This might be a good one for right before nap time or definitely right before bedtime because it's a cool story and I think you guys are going to like it. Like all these myths, legends, folklore, and campfire stories, they started a long time ago. Before there were cars, before there were cable cars and computers and phones and airplanes. Back during the cavemen, they would sit around the campfire and tell tall tales that became legends and myths. And even today at school, our teachers read us stories, amazing stories about faraway land, magical beasts and creatures, and of course, mom and daddy, who love us very much, when they read us bedtime stories, they read about cool stories, things that happened a long time ago, some maybe real, some maybe not for reals. And then, of course, the campfire stories. And the campfire stories are my favorite. As a matter of fact, this story I want to tell you guys, is a campfire story that I learned long time ago when I was a little cheetah, a little honey badger up at summer camp. I learned this story and I remember it until this very day. And I think it's a very special story. Actually, I might have told you guys this as an imagination story to the cheetahs, but it's been a while. So it's a very special story, and I think you guys will love it. Are you guys ready? All right. This story is about the hummingbird and the stars. A long time ago, in the deep, dark forest, lived animals. Now, this was way before people. This is even before the cavemen. This is before dinosaurs. This is before airplanes, definitely before computers and internet and cell phones. And it was just the whole land was filled with animals. And there were animals all around, and they loved each other, and they respected each other. They gave each other a room. They let each other drink from the same fountains and streams and water, and they all got along, loving your brother man and sister girl, loving all the differences, and everything was wonderful in the forest. That different animals played and they wrestled, they got along, they shared. Everybody's very courteous, everybody's very kind, and everyone loved each other and got along. And Mother Earth, she was looking up from heaven, and she looked down at Earth and all of her animal friends, and she said, I love my animal friends so much. They're so kind to each other. They're so gentle. They're so caring. I love them so much. And she hugged Earth and gave it warmth. And all the animals were even more happy. Now one day, the big old bear was walking down the trail. Hey, but it's okay. Don't worry. Remember? Everybody gets along in this story, right? And here he didn't see little Bunny. But they were friends because everyone in the forest was kind and gentle and caring. But little did Bear know, when he was reaching up for a tall branch maybe to try to get some honey, he started backing up. Oh, and he tripped over Rabbit. Oh no! And he started backpedaling, and he fell right on Porcupine. Ah! And there was chaos. Oh, the bear was so angry. He was so hurt. His bum bum was full of porcupine quills. So he did what any normal bear would do. He kicked the bunny. Whee! That's the bunny up there on the top left. And then he was so mad, he turned around and he kicked that porcupine. But that porcupine's got quills, and so the bear went, ow! And he backed up, to a sleeping snake. And the snake went to go bite the bear. Ow! And as the bear was rolling around the floor, he rolled and kicked and accidentally bumped into Mr. Skunk, who sprayed him. Ow! And chaos reigned in the forest. Oh no! All the animals who were so sweet, so gentle, so kind started getting crazy, and they're fighting and they're arguing and they're bickering. Oh, and it was not a good sight. The bear and the rabbit and the skunk and the snakes and the birds and the owls and the crickets, they were all arguing. They were just getting along so well. But one little mistake turned the forest into chaos. Now, Mother Earth, she was still looking down at her animal friends, and she was very, very sad of what she was seeing. All her animal friends, who at one point were so kind, so courteous, so friendly to one another, were now not being kind, and matter of fact, being pretty mean. And she was not happy. So you know what she did? Oh, don't adjust your screen. It's black for a reason. She took a ginormous black blanket and covered the entire earth. And it was dark. Oh no! Oh no! All the animals said, "What's going on? Where's the sun? Why it's cold? Oh, it's so dark. It's so dark. What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, I think we're in trouble. I think all that arguing we're going to do, we're doing it. Mother Earth put a blanket on. What are we going to do?" And all the animals, they were so upset, so scared, so frightened. They said, "Okay, let's meet tomorrow morning at the big clearing in the forest, and we will figure out a way to get rid of that dark blanket, and so the sun can come back out." So that's just what they did. That next morning, even though it was still dark, they went and they met at the big clearing in the forest. And all the forest animals are there. The bear, the deer, the porcupine, the owl, the raccoon, all the birds, the frogs, the snakes, hummingbird, fox, squirrel, chipmunk, all came to the forest. And they said, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? It's so dark and it's scary. And how are we gonna get that big, big blanket off the earth?" And all of a sudden, you heard a little, "I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it." And all the animals are still arguing, like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? We can do it. No, you can't do it. You're no good. I can do it, I can do it." And no one heard the little voice because there's all this arguing. "Oh no, you can't do it. I can do it. Oh, you're too small. I can do it. I can do it." And there's like, what is that noise? Oh, that's just Hummingbird, guys. "I can do it. I can do it." "Oh, Hummingbird, no, you can't. You're too small. Go away." Then Big Bear stood up. "Well, as you guys know, we bears, are the biggest and the strongest animals in the whole forest. So we are going to go and be the heroes, and we're going to tear that blanket down. And you guys are going to thank us later." Yay! All the animals cheered. What we're going to do is we're going to climb up there. We're going to pull it down with our big old muscles. Yay! All the animals cheered. And so that's just what they did. They stacked each other like a pyramid, the biggest, strongest bears on the bottom, and the smaller ones on the top. And they were getting pretty high. They went high as some of the tallest trees, and they went higher and higher. And all the animals were looking up cheering. And all of a sudden, whoa, whoa. That tower started leaning to the left. Whoa. Then leaning to the right. Whoa. Oh no! Bears crashing everywhere. All the animals of the forest had to run because you do not want to be underneath a bear when it falls. Oh no! What are we gonna do? Said all the forest animals. They were so upset, so sad, so scared. If the bears couldn't do it, and they're the biggest, strongest, we are doomed. No one's gonna be able to tear that blanket down. I can do it! I can do it! Oh man. Is that Hummingbird again? Hummingbird, get out of here. There's no way you can do it. You're so small. If Bear couldn't do it, and they're the strongest and the biggest in the forest, you can't do it. But I can do it! I can do it! I can do it! Oh, get out of here. And just then, the coyote stood up in the middle of the forest and said, us coyotes are the smartest animals in the entire forest. Now, no disrespect to you bears, you guys are big and strong, but us coyotes have the biggest brains. It's known. Yeah, it's a big deal. We're kind of cool like that. But we've got an idea. Kind of like the bears, where they stack themselves, but instead of using brute strength, we are going to use our brains. And we're going to stack each other up, and we're going to get on each other's shoulders and each other's backs, and we're going to get up there higher than the bears, and we're going to rip that blanket down. Oh yeah, go ahead, take us now. We're cool. Yay! All the animals said. And that's just what the coyotes did. They stacked up. First they put the biggest, strongest coyote, and then the other one, and then they distributed the weight just perfectly until they got higher than the bears got, and even higher to the tallest trees. And they kept stacking coyote on top of coyote until the smallest coyotes were on that top, and they were getting pretty high, and all the animals were going, yay! But just like the bears, things started going a little haywire. First, that tall column of coyotes started going to the left. Whoa. And then it started leaning to the right. Whoa. Oh, to the right, to the left. Oh, no. Coyotes everywhere. Run! Oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, the bears couldn't do it, and they're the strongest animals in the forest. We are doomed. I can do it. I can do it. Oh, not you again, Hummingbird. If the bears can't do it, and they're the strongest animals, and coyotes can't do it, and they're the smartest animals, what makes you think you can do it? I can do it. I can do it. Oh, just go away, Hummingbird. You're too small. Just then, snakes slithered to the middle of the forest and said, us snakes are the slyest animals in the forest. Now, bear could be big and strong, but he couldn't do it. And coyote might be smart, but they couldn't do it. But us snakes are sly. So we're going to twirl around each other, and we're going to get so high, and we're going to use our fangs and pull that blanket down. And all the animals said, yay! And that's just what they did. First, two snakes started. Then there's three snakes. And they twisted and they twirled and they twined and they went higher and higher. And they went higher than the bears. But they weren't done. They kept looping around each other, twisty-wisting higher and higher. And then there were 4, and then there were 10, and there were 100. And they're going higher and higher. They went higher than the coyotes went, and all the animals of the forest were going, yay! And they were getting pretty far up there, and all the animals are looking up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That tall column of snakes started going to the right. Oh. And then it started leaning to the left. Oh. And to the right. Oh. Snakes everywhere. Run. Not a pretty sight. Oh, what are we gonna do? It's so dark and so scary, and we want the sunshine again. We are doomed. Oh, the bears couldn't do, and they're the strongest. And then the coyotes couldn't do, and they're the smartest. And then the creepy snakes. Oh, they couldn't do, and they're the slyest. Now we are doomed. What are we gonna do? Oh, and as those forest animals were upset and crying and very, very scared, somebody started flying up to the sky. And all of a sudden, Badger looked up and pointed, "Look, what is that up in the sky?" And all the forest animals looked high, and they said, "Wait, no, is it? Could it be? It is, you guys. It's Hummingbird." And sure enough, there was little Hummingbird, the littlest animal in the forest, flying high, high, high. And he was pumping those little wings, making them go so fast. And he was zigzagging left and right, going all the way up and higher and higher. He went higher than the bears before they fell. But he kept going higher and higher. And he went higher than the coyotes where they fell. But he didn't stop. That little hummingbird kept going higher and higher, even higher than the snakes went. And all the animals in the forest going, "Yay, hummingbird! Yay, hummingbird!" And he did not stop. He went all the way to the clouds, then went through the clouds, then he went all the way up into the atmosphere where it was dark. And guess what he started doing? Poke, 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 poke. Poke, poke, poke. He started poking holes through that dark blanket with his beak. Poke, 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 poke. He was moving so fast. Poke, 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 poke. And little lights started coming through the blanket from the little holes Hummingbird was making with his beak. And there was dozens, and then there were hundreds, then there were thousands. He kept poking, he kept flying, and then there were millions. Now even hummingbirds get tired. Poke, poke, and he had just poked millions of tiny little holes in that blanket. Poke, poke, poke. "Oh no," the forest animal said. "Poke, Hummingbird's getting tired. Poke, oh no. Poke, I hope, poke, he doesn't fall. Poke." And down came Hummingbird. And the forest was quiet. None of the animals spoke. Then they all got together and reverently picked up Hummingbird and carried him to and built a very, very comfortable nest and laid him to rest. Now, they can see little Hummingbird's heart still pumping, so they knew he was okay. But they wanted to make sure that he got all the love, all the affection, all the kindness, all the tenderness they can give. And they all sang the most beautiful forest songs, and all the animals of the forest joined along. The owls, the frogs, the coyotes, the bear, all the insects, the snakes, chipmunks, and squirrels, and they sing the most beautiful song all together, and it was a sweet lullaby. And Mother Earth looked down from the heavens and smiled. Oh, all my animal friends, they loved and cared and cheered for Hummingbird, the smallest yet bravest animal in the forest. And this made Mother Earth very, very happy. So she announced to all of the animals in the forest, this is what's going to happen, you guys. I am going to take that blanket off of the earth for half the day, and we're going to call that daytime. And then I'm going to put that blanket back on the earth, and we're going to call that nighttime. And I'm going to keep that blanket there for half the day to remind you to be kind, to be courteous, to be gentle, to love one another, and respect one another. So that is why we have daytime for half the day and nighttime for half the day. But luckily for us, the littlest creature in the forest, Hummingbird, created thousands of millions of gazillions little holes in that blanket. So we can see sometimes at nighttime, and we can definitely see the light coming through that blanket. And now we call those little lights that Hummingbird made stars. And all the animals of the forest, after that day, they got along, they loved each other, they respected each other, they didn't argue. Even when Bear accidentally sat on Porcupine, he held his composure, he checked his temper, and everybody loved everybody in the forest, especially the littlest and bravest Hummingbird. Now that was a cool legend, folklore, myth, and campfire story, especially because it taught us a great lesson that no matter how big you are, how smart you are, how sly you are, it always comes down to how big your heart is. And in this story, Hummingbird, even though he was the littlest animal in the forest, he had the biggest heart and he was very brave. And luckily for his bravery, we now have stars. So when you look up in the sky tonight, you guys, think a hummingbird. Well, I hope you enjoyed that legends, folklore, myths, and campfire stories because it was one of my favorite stories as a kid, and I'm glad I got to share with you guys. All right, you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. For now, have a good day, North Beach kids.